Hi, so today I wanted to share how our digestion, where we're at with our digestion, impacts our emotional eating. So welcome, my name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and emotional eating expert. And today I wanted to share this way of looking at digestion so we can see the connection to our emotional eating. This is something we might miss as an emotional eater because we're constantly trying to control the foods we're eating and control our emotions, but we don't necessarily look at how we're digesting our foods. And I know for me, digestion was so key to helping me feel good in my body so that I did have better moods, so I didn't emotionally eat as much, that I really want to share that with you. And it's something that I've seen with so many clients. And it's also something we really miss because it's not conventionally taught to us. So how does digestion impact your emotional eating? So I'm going to simplify this. When our digestion is when we're consuming food, we're eating it, we're chewing it, we're swallowing it, it's coming out the other end. When we're digesting our food, if our digestion is off, which means we have gas after a meal, bloating, constipation, feeling heavy, not feeling satisfied, just feeling like overly stuffed after a meal, not having daily bowel movements, just feeling kind of awful and sluggish and tired after a meal, that means our digestion is off. When our digestion is off, what that is telling us about our body is that the digestive process doesn't have the right enzymes or stomach acid to really break down that food, or maybe we weren't even chewing the food properly, or we weren't in a really calm state when we were eating our meal. And what that does is when we have an indigestion, that essentially means that the food we are eating isn't broken down into the smallest pieces possible or in the smallest pieces that's needed. So we want to break down our food into the smallest pieces possible so that our body, our intestines can absorb it, because that's how we actually get nutrients into our body. It's when it's absorbed by the digestive system. If the food is not digested and it's in bigger pieces and bigger chunks, when it gets into the small intestine where most of the absorption occurs, what happens is that there is a mixture of good and bad bacteria. And when the chunks of food are bigger than what our body can absorb, the bad bacteria feed on them, creating gas, creating bloating, creating compounds that can be neurotoxin, so making us feel foggy and our brain is not functioning. And the good bacteria can't really feed on those bigger chunks of food because the food wasn't broken down to small enough pieces. And so the good bacteria in our digestive system produce compounds like neurotransmitters, like serotonin. About 95% is produced in the gut. So if the bad bacteria are being fed versus the good, so if you have this chronic these digestive symptoms, that's what's happening. You're going to feel more foggy and worse moods and kind of lower moods and not really great after a meal. And what this does for an emotional eater, so you can see that your brain is not feeling good, your moods are off, and the reason this happens is because our digestive system is connected to our brain via the vagus nerve. There's constant communication, so it impacts our moods. And when our moods are down, as an emotional eater, what do? You go towards more food, and you probably go towards the foods that make you feel good, that are more processed, that are more, give you a little bit of a high, and you eat a lot of it because now you've been triggered into not feeling great. And so what that does is then you go and eat all these foods when you're not actually hungry, which sets you up for more indigestion and more feeling like stuffed and bloated after eating all of that and guilty. And so we start this spiral again. So this is what's happening when we have poor digestion, when we're eating foods that are not digesting in our body. And this could be happening because, one, you are not setting yourself up to digest the food well, either by not chewing well or not being calm enough in the right nerve, you're in fight or flight mode versus rest and digest mode. Or two, you're eating foods that are not great for your body, for your body's constitution that digest well in your body, no matter what the nutritional noise is saying out there. And you also, the third thing is that you might not be eating foods in the right combination. So you're not starting your day in a way that you're digesting your breakfast and then your lunch and then your dinner, you're kind of piling food on top of each other, and each meal is not digesting properly on top of the other one, because certain foods need certain amount of times to digest. Fruits and vegetables digest in a very short amount of time versus more animal-based products, and meat take a lot longer to digest. So if we're eating kind of mechanically and not really tuning into our body and our true hunger, we might be eating when we're not necessarily hungry. And this further makes our digestion worse and our moods worse, and it's one factor in the emotional eating cycle. So to sort of sum this up, when our digestion is off, that triggers bad moods, and that makes us want to emotionally eat more, and it starts this cycle. It's also not really great in our body as well, because that means our digestion is off, and digestion is so key to nourishing our body and making us feel that we're getting all the nutrients that we need. So if this makes sense to you, let me know, leave a comment. And if you feel like you need more support in this area, this is one of the key areas that I cover in my emotional eating evolution program. It's a 4-phase program. The first phase is true nourishment and strategic digestion, and we go into the details of how to structure your day so that you're truly nourishing your body, that you are digesting, and that you are sort of minimizing the effect of your digestion on your mood that creates emotional eating. So if you're interested in that, I invite you to book a call or get in touch with me to book a call. I would love to speak to you. And of course, if you're here, please be sure to like and subscribe. I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.